Most legacy sequels get it wrong. They lean on nostalgia, undo their own mythology, or try too hard to feel modern that they forget what made the original movie work. But 28 years later does something a little bit different. It's beautiful, it's terrifying, and it feels alive. It doesn't just continue the story that they were telling, it evolves it. And in doing so, it fixes what nearly every legacy sequel keeps getting wrong. Revisiting an old franchise sounds easy, but most of the time it's a trap. Look at The Matrix Resurrections. That movie was meta without meaning, and Terminator Dark Fate rewrites the timeline, but it loses emotional weight, and Beetlejuice, that literally had nothing to say and has no story to justify its existence. These movies spend way too much time referencing themselves instead of building something new. They talk to the past instead of speaking to the present. Now, 28 years later doesn't fall for any of that. It remembers where it came from, it remembers what made those movies work, but then it moves past that. The Infected are unlike anything I've ever seen before. They're not just fast or scary, they're full of personality, and that's largely due to the fact that at no time when I was watching this did any of them feel like a cookie cutter, this one was the same as this one. It felt like every single time I saw one on the screen, I felt like they had a life before this. And I don't know if that's due to the fact that they use these infected very sparingly. It's not like every scene has them and there's action across the board. No, it's a pretty slow moving movie for the most part. And so whenever an infected is on screen, it hits a little bit different and makes you kind of feel for them in a way that a movie like this shouldn't make you feel. Now, the Alpha Infected was such a smart addition. You immediately feel like the virus has changed, it's evolved over the years, and that is the result. And let me tell you, the scene where the Alpha is chasing our characters full speed through the water was one of the most intense scenes that I can remember freaking ever. And the environments in this movie, the way that it's shot, it is so beautiful when nothing's going on and you just see the greenery, the rolling hills. It's beautiful. The movie is absolutely stunning, but then if you take that same exact scene, that same visual location, and you throw in some infected running full speed through the grass, it goes from this beautiful scene to terrifying. And I just think it's crazy that they take the same visual cues and you get both different results from it. It's insane. It also understands what a lot of sequels do not understand, and that is that you need someone to root for, and Spike is our perfect segue as an audience to get back into this world. He's just a kid trying to make his dad proud and take care of his mom. It's simple, it's grounded, it's real. You get to watch him grow from this very timid kid who's very unsure of himself to this very confident person who is not gonna back down from any challenge to save the ones that he loves. And that really does feel earned after you see what he goes through, and going from what he was to what he becomes. It just feels real, and it gives the movie a lot of heart that movies like this don't tend to really give the audience. Just give us the shock factor and the crazy looking zombies, and that's all that you're gonna get. But this one goes a bit further. The movie could have been 2 hours of non-stop infected and carnage and not much else, but instead we got this character-driven story first and the infected second, which is always gonna be the right choice. Now, not everything lands in this movie. The editing is a little bit hit and miss. The one scene can be very well done and very smooth and just really well done, but then the next scene could be very choppy and kind of chaotic, and I feel like that is more so of a creative choice, but either way, it's kind of distracting in what it's doing. But what really brings the movie back is the grit and the raw tension and the hopelessness pushing up against the will to survive. That's something that this whole franchise has done from the beginning, and guess what? 28 years later, doubles down on that. This feels like a world that, even though the last time we got it was 28 weeks later, all those years ago, the world itself kept going without us, and now we're just catching up. And that ending, I'm still trying to process what I just watched, because if there was a definition of flipping a movie on its head tonally, that was it. I don't know if I liked it or hated it. It's gonna take a little bit, but I don't even know where I land with that. But here's what I do know. By the time that the credits rolled, I did not want to leave. I wanted to stay with Spike, I wanted to see where his story went, and not even just Spike, I wanted to just stay in the world and follow even other characters and their stories, because there are so many stories to tell within this universe that we don't even have to stick with what we knew in the past movies. We can move on, and that's something they really showed us with this movie. That's how you know a film did its job. When it ends, you still want more. So yeah, 28 years later doesn't just bring the franchise back, it shows you how to do it and do it right. You stay true to the original tone, you don't ever ever overuse nostalgia because that never works. You expand the world without over explaining it, and you give us new characters with clear motivations, and you always have something to say. But what other franchises do you want to see come back to the big screen, or which ones do you think can actually come back and do it right? Let me know in the comments, and if you need a recap on the 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later movie before you see 28 Years Later, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.